What's up, everybody? It's Scarlett Syanide, and welcome back to another Scarlett Cyanide's Sit and Sip. Don't worry, you haven't lost vision in one eye. We're gonna call this a solo quick sip, and today we're given a double feature because I'm gonna be reviewing Season 2 of Drag Race Brazil and Season 1 of Drag Race All-Stars France. Now, before we get into that, don't forget to support the channel by liking the video and subscribing. And you can join me every single week for a live watch along for Drag Race All-Stars France and Drag Race Brazil by clicking the join button below. Everybody grab a seat and take a sip, and let's get into Drag Race Brazil Season 2. We've been waiting so long on this season that one of my personal favorites, Miranda LeBrow, has already appeared on All-Stars. It is about time that we got a fresh group of girls, and speaking of fresh, the set got a complete makeover, so it's nice to know that they were at least busy while we were waiting. Also, Drag Queen, she is so beautiful in and out of drag. Drag Queen never disappoints and just looks adorable. It seems like the whole Brazil franchise has gotten a big makeover. Episode 1 was called The Birds of Paradise Take Flight. And Drag Queen kept the queens busy on this first episode. They had Who's Got the Best Head mini challenge, which was a quiz about all things Drag Race Brazil related, that is. I was actually really impressed with the questions that they were asking the girls, and even more impressed with everybody that knew the answers. For the maxi challenge, the girls had to dance and perform in a choreography challenge to Drag Queen's original song, Bougie Brazil. Overall, it was cute. I love the song. For as much choreography as the girls appeared to go through, when we were watching the challenge, it kind of seemed like there was a lot of freestyle going on to me. There were a few standouts, and we'll get right into that. The runway was Brazilian spice, and there were definitely some beautiful looks and some looks that were a little sour. Overall impressions about Drag Race Brazil so far. I really love the upgrades that they've done to the workroom. And overall, this group of girls definitely seems ready to go. A lot of high energy and a very good mix of experienced queens and also some pretty young queens. Actually, one of my favorite queens of the episode, Chanel, is only 21 years old. Now, there are definitely a lot of relationships pre-existing in this mix. I think overall this season's gonna be good TV, and I'm always excited to see the passion and the love for drag that all the queens from Brazil have. Now, today I'm gonna be going over the bottoms, the tops, and then one gal that was safe, but she's really giving winter energy. Up first is Poala Hoffmann van Cartier. She is one of our seasoned girls. Beautiful face, styled hair. I really liked her entrance look, which is a red and black kind of like leather dress. To me, she was giving full package and very polished queen. I was actually surprised though, throughout the episode, she continues to kind of fade into the background. And even when she's talking about herself in the workroom, she's starting to give off maybe not so confident energy. Now, she places in the bottom this week, but I love her runway. It came as a hot pot. It was beautiful. It was structured, definitely a little safe, but once again, giving somebody that knows what she's doing in drag. Also in the bottom this week is Poseidon Drag. Poseidon came in the workroom, unfortunately, in a tacky look and a red wig. She also had struggles with her performance look. I felt like she was keeping up, but she wore a gray look. It was not giving the energy of the song. It was not giving boogie. Next is Bhelchi. Miss Bhelchi was in the bottom. Entrance look, personally, I don't think it fit her the best, but it honestly wasn't like offensive either. I did really like her boots. Now, Miss Bhelchi gave a bust look on the runway. I just don't think the cut of the outfit was extremely flattering or exciting. And also, I wish the bust line had like cuter colors for their colors. Gray does not give me boogie. Can we talk about one of my absolute favorites? Even though she was safe, which by the way, she was mad about, Miss Mellody Queen was my standout star of the episode. That's right. I'm not even going to wait to the end. Definitely my sip of the week. She stood out to me in every way. Her entrance look was gorgeous. It was polished. By the time she came in, I was like, ooh, yes, this is an entrance look that I need, because I was getting a little bit of confusion with some of the girls. Now, to me, I think she was a standout in the challenge. I mean, it doesn't hurt that she's beautiful. Now, in Untucked, we saw her unleash low-key on these girls. Basically, she said that she toned herself down for the good of the group. But unfortunately, 10 girls, if there's 10 girls there up on stage, you better lift that leg behind your ear. You better spin around. You better do what you got to do to stand out. Mellody's look on the runway was also one of my favorites, and she was giving you traditional rice and beans. I thought this look was really beautiful. I love the camp. I love the glamour. I love the scale of it all. It was drag. I was so surprised that she was safe. Now, she wasn't safe the whole episode though, because she was our winner of the mini challenge. Y'all, let's talk about our tops of the week. First up is Chanel. She is so beautiful. She's adorable. Her entrance look was also a look that really stood out for me. There was something just really fresh about it, while also giving you like early 2000s. I loved Chanel in the challenge. Now, her runway was pretty wild. Everybody was doing food, you know, it's Brazilian spice, it makes sense. Chanel though, she's like, I'm gonna educate the children. She's gonna walk the children in nature. Actually though, she's walking the children in architecture, because she came out dressed as a column. A column? Yeah. She came out dressed as a column. Now, it all related to the challenge. It was giving you Brazilian culture. Definitely a unique take. It's very cool that we have a queen with such an interesting viewpoint and perspective going into each challenge. Next up is Melina, also in the top. I will say, when Miss Melina came into the workroom, I wasn't completely sold on her entrance look. I loved the top half from the waist up. Amazing. She had a funky hat. Like, what's not to love? But where were the pants? Where was the skirt? The bottom half was gone. You know, I love a good high cut panty. I was just kind of confused at why there was so much going on the top half and like nothing on the bottom. She really stood out in the maxi challenge, and then on the runway, Miss Thing's also going to give you a political message. I love, once again, we had a queen doing a different take of Brazilian spice. She took this opportunity to bring awareness to the droughts affecting Brazil. Loved this runway, loved the scale, loved the glamour. Overall, the queens that were in the top this episode are really, really standing out for me, especially with Mellody Queen. This is an exciting season. Now, Melina gets to lip sync for the win against Ruby Knox. Ruby Knox, she has such a funny personality to me. She came in talking a big game. She knows everybody. She's that girl. Nobody messed with her. She really stood out during the performance. And then I got to give it to her. This runway outlaw look was art. It was stunning. Put it in the museum. So I gotta give it up for the winner of episode 1, Ruby Knox. Now, she got to lip sync against Melina, and y'all, this lip sync was kind of a letdown. We did see this when Brazil first kicked off on season 1. So I don't know if these girls are like timid or shy to like pick up the energy. Ruby gave it to you definitely more with the face than Melina did. But maybe a lip sync for the win is just, they're like, man, I'm good, I'm on the top. So we'll see what happens when there's an elimination. Now next week, they're really gonna put the queens to the test. It is a design challenge and they're gonna have to make all their looks out of paper. I really enjoyed this first episode of Brazil and I cannot wait to see episode 2. Well, I hope you divas still have something to sip on, because now we're gonna get into Drag Race France All-Stars Season 1. I have to talk about every single girl because this is a cast of superstars. So here we go. It is All-Stars rules, which means there will be a top 2 of the week that'll give us a lip sync legendaire, and then they'll pull the lipstick out of their titty and they'll send somebody home. Really quick, can we just acknowledge how beautiful and gorgeous Nikki Doll is? I mean, she is every season, but the glamour and the beauty, it just keeps getting more and more intense. I love how much the girls love Nikki. It's always such good energy in the France workroom, great conversations, and all of these queens are ready to fight for this crown. I love Nikki's video message look. And this is not shade, but it was giving kind of like glamour cone heads. So I guess they really did come from France. We also got to see Daphne, and Daphne was serving Drag King this episode, so come through Drag King representation. And we got introduced to 3 more brand new judges. They got those credentials. We have a fashion designer, we have a pop star. This first season of France All-Stars is going to be insane. I'm gonna talk about my favorite entrance looks from season 1. Cam Hugh. I was so excited when they said Cam Hugh was on the cast list. This group also got the All-Stars memo, and everybody almost came in with a self-reference to their look, and Cam Hugh was no exception. She came in giving you like queen pigeon down. I didn't know pigeons could be so beautiful. Actually, yeah, I did. Pigeons are beautiful. My other favorite entrance look from season 1 was Soa de Muse. This blue eye embroidered suit. I love just a well-tailored suit, and this color just looks so beautiful and exceptional on her. She's already been on Drag Race Global All-Stars, so I'm sure when the girls saw Soa come in, they were shaking. My favorite entrance look from season 2 is my girl Moon, Miss Congeniality Supreme, and one of our all-time fan favorites. I thought her entrance look was adorable. It was honestly a little unexpected for Moon, but I really enjoyed this look. My absolute favorite entrance look is from Magnetica season 3. This red devil look was so sexy, so couture. This shape was amazing. Even the other girls said, by far, she's got the best entrance look. There was no sleeping in this first episode of All Stars. We start right out with the library open. It's the reading challenge, and Magnetica was that girl. And that's, I feel like, a lot to be said, because my one takeaway from this reading challenge was, don't let these girls from Drag Race France read you. For winning the reading challenge, Magnetica wins toothpicks, but they were like this long. I don't know what those were supposed to be. The theme of this episode was abracadrag. Actually, I think it was abacadadrag, but that is awful to say. It was a talent show, but the girls had to also incorporate magic into their talent number. They said having talent isn't enough. You also need to learn a new skill. This talent show was amazing. So honestly, yeah, give the girls something else to do. They have the talent, we know that. The runway theme of the week was gold. L'or, j'adore. And the winner of the Maxi Challenge gets 2,500 euros. Let's talk about the safe girls first. First up from season 2 was Piche. First, let's talk about Piche's entrance look. Actually, okay, the girls were hilarious reading this right out the gate. Piche was giving the big bad wolf. I appreciated the scale and like the absurdity of it, but I Didn't really understand, like, why? Was it fashion? And also, what was up with that wolf? Was it like a cat or a possum? Like, what was up with that wolf? For the talent show, Piche did one of her own songs. She was not shy. She let us know that she is a recording artist. Her talent was incredible. Her voice blew me away. She played the piano, then she got up and did a full dance number. Her runway, she was a gold record. Not that exciting, but hey, I guess dress for the job that you want. Next up is Punani from season 2, and she was also a finalist on season 2. Punani's entrance look was another self-reference. She was also very invested into the light up dresses, which we saw on her runway. I think the look was pretty, but it was maybe a little too conceptual in a way that didn't fully translate on the stage. Speaking of conceptual, her talent number was a comedy routine, kind of like this comedy monologue. Now, from just the motion she was doing and seeing how people were reacting, because y'all, also there were no translations for people's talent numbers, music, monologues, anything like that. So unfortunately, I had very little context for what was happening. But to me, I was right along on the ride for her throughout this talent number until the whole like parachute gag happened at the end. Everybody was confused. Next up is Elips from season 1, a former Miss Congeniality, and honestly, somebody whose drag has really evolved and changed from season 1. When they were showing the flashbacks of her getting Miss Congeniality and even competing on the season, from now to then, I'm like, this is a new woman. I really enjoyed her overall. I thought that she was really, really good this episode. Her talent number was very somber. It was beautiful, and it was giving me like star-crossed lovers. While her talent number was somber, her runway was smoking. She gave a gold kind of Prince-inspired look, and honestly, this look was hot. One of my favorite acts of the night was Hugh. Hugh did burlesque, and some of the most gorgeous burlesque outfit and props that I have ever seen. I'm not surprised. I thought her act was super fun, starting out as a flamingo. She also had just some of my favorite burlesque reveals and burlesque gags. Her runway look was a gold sailor. It was very high fashion. It wasn't super exciting, but right away I could see like the execution and the quality and the beauty of that look. Give it up for my girl, Moon. Now, Moon's talent number, y'all, I'm not really sure what was going on. It was like a fever dream. There were puppets, and I don't really know what happened, but I was entertained. Now, her look was so sexy, giving Pamela Anderson in like a gold chain bikini. Soa de Muse's talent number, I was so blown away by Soa's voice in her dramatic spoken word piece. The delivery, the tone of her voice, it was just art. It was just so special. You couldn't help but not be like fully engaged in everything that she was saying. Soa's look was giving you beautiful fertility goddess. I always love seeing her bring her roots into her looks. Y'all, Drag Race France really faked us out this episode, because going into this, we had no idea that everybody was going to be safe this week. In fact, 2 queens very much were in the bottom, and 2 of my favorites. Big Bertha, y'all, first, I'm so excited that Big Bertha is on this season. Of course, she's always been one of my favorites since season 1. She's funny, she's smart, she's entertaining. She is just such a well-rounded, fully realized queen in a package that we don't usually see celebrated. I'm just like rooting for Big Bertha. I was really bummed to see her in the bottom. Now, personally, Bertha's talent number I loved. Started out with singing. Now, I personally thought the song was funny because she was singing about Grindr, And once again, there was no translations. According to the judges, her song ended really sad. The judges were not impressed. Now, her runway was not one of my favorites. It was a Saint Bertha look, but essentially to me, it was giving gold bodysuit. Now, Miss Shady Boots Magnetica was in the bottom with Big Bertha. Magnetica's talent number, it left more to be desired. I think she had a really funny concept. She was giving you an alien doing a talent show, but ultimately there wasn't a lot of jokes that paid off. Now, as much as I liked Magnetica's entrance look, I was actually a little underwhelmed at her sun deity look. It just seemed a little scaled down for me. Now, the tops of the week were Mami Watta from season 2, one of my all-time favorites. Her talent show was so funny and unexpected. As much as Magnetica struggled in her magic comedy act, Mami Watta succeeded by being completely unhinged, screaming, just being so funny, and honestly clowning. And I mean that like with all the skill. I love that Daphne brought up that clowning is such a special talent, and that Mami Watta exhibited like such professional control over everything with this talent. And like the screaming, I think it could have gone like way out of hand if she didn't know exactly how she was going to deliver this, but she just did such an exceptional job. Her runway look was princess. She literally said she wanted to give you the princess look that she always dreamed about from her childhood. So she wore all the fabric. She's like brought all the fabric to Drag Race. Now, Mami was against Misty Phoenix from season 3. I wasn't honestly sure what to expect from Misty, but Misty really blew me away. Now, Misty's burlesque number was honestly unreal. And y'all, when she ended the burlesque number doing an actual real magic trick and Le Philippe was there instead of her, like she literally switched the people like herself. I'm like, damn, this girl came hard. Misty and Mami got to lip sync Legendary for the win, and they had two very different approaches to this song, but Mami Watta was so sexy. She was the winner. I am so happy for her. We still at this point didn't know that nobody was going home. So a lipstick was pulled, and Mami made the bold choice, in my opinion, to send home Big Bertha. She did sashay away, and then Nikki goes, "Oh, Bertha," and then decides to keep everybody. So I can only imagine what that tea is gonna be like next week, or if the girls are just gonna kumbaya about it. But how do y'all feel about that selection? For France, I'm gonna sip Mami Watta this week and spit Magnetica. Thank you all so much for joining me on this sit and sip solo quick sip edition. Take care of yourselves, divas. Till next time, bye.